And welcome back. Now it's time for Eye on Politics. Every Monday, you know how we do it. We just want to talk about politics and what happened over the weekend and even what we should expect over the coming week. All right, and with me in studio, I have got a lady and gentleman to help me go through that process. I'm joined by, ladies first, Lavender Ojalla, all right? Yes. For the first time coming onto the show. Yes. She is a diplomat by profession as well as a political analyst. Okay, Regina, did you just affect me, Jen? Analyst. All right. Analyst. Okay. As well as a political analyst, and she has got more interest on diplomatic affairs and matters. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Victor.
As well as Abraham Jeff Ndambuki. All right, there you have him, political analyst. He's a founder and head of the Wiper Democratic Movement Diaspora Youth Wing, as well as part of the executive committee managing the Kalonzo Musyoka presidential bid come 2022. And by the way, he's also an accountant by profession. He'll also go to tell us how we are doing as a country, whether my coin is making sense to the taxpayer or not. Welcome to the program, Jeff.
Thanks, Victor, for the invitation.
Absolutely. Let's start by you, starting economics. Where are we as a country? As an accountant, is my coin making sense to you?
Yes, so basically, if we look at the country today, and if we are to actually analyze our performance, we are running a very high deficit. And we are in a state in which, as a country, we might see a lot of infrastructure, we might see a lot of growth, and feel that there is a movement. However, the books will never lie, and numbers always say the truth. And we need to look at our numbers, and we need to actually reduce our debt burden as a country. And this is one of the areas in which I believe, as every political affiliation is trying to set up a new standard, they're trying to see which method they're going to use to have a better trajectory in terms of the economy. However, it's not an easy battle. It's going to be a tough one, and it's going to be a long one. Yeah,
because we continue to pay taxes, and debt. According to the stat today, Kenya has paid 238.9 billion shillings in total public debt since June. And we continue to pay such.
Yes, and I can hear a lot of people talking about social security, reducing the tax burden on the common mwananchi. However, they don't realize that for every expenditure, there must be a source. And for every money that we are going to expend, we have to find it from somewhere. And borrowing is not a solution. In fact, we need to ask ourselves, how are we going to improve our production as a country? So we're in a state of great urgency. And I urge every political affiliation that is trying to form a government in the next coming election to look into the area of debt and equally revenue generation. That's the focus.
But as you speak as a country, where are we?
I would say out of 10, I would give it a 4.
That's so bad.
It is. And if you're to say, okay, we are having an improvement in the economy, it's at the expenditure of the future. We are borrowing at the expenditure of the future generation. So we might have it well now, but in years to come, we're going to see things worsening.
Okay. Can I call you Balozi? An accountant has spoken.
Yes.
Does that worry you? Because you're a taxpayer and we continue to pay a lot of money every single day.
Yes. It should worry us because our economy is on the verge of collapse. So this is something that the economical experts should find a way of fine-tuning. So we come up with policies that will ensure that our economy is revived to where we should be. At the moment, I think a lot is not happening, right? And people need just to have a conversation on how these things can be put together so that we forge ahead.
All right. So let's just stop that. I think it was quite important because pesa ni muhimu and paying uchumi and taxes is also important. All right, so let's go into our matters of today. A lot happened over the weekend, and Deputy President William Ruto was in Mombasa, and Honorable Raila Odinga was in Isiolo, and today is expected in part of eastern Kenya, that is in Tharaka Nithi, Embu, and part of Mount Kenya East, being hosted by 3 governors on that particular region. Let me start with you, Lavender, on this one. How are you seeing the political landscape in the country as you speak?
As we speak, I think a lot is happening. We are seeing people are beginning to align themselves.
Yeah.
And on the forefront, we have Raila Amolo Odinga. And currently, what we are watching is interesting.
Yeah.
Initially, there were myths that Raila cannot be accepted in some parts of the country. But whatever we are witnessing is very interesting. He's been there the whole of last week, I think, and he's done really well. We are seeing people coming out to welcome him. He also has a message for the people that is really well packaged, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And Raila is one person that over the years, even as he campaigns, on the paper, he has manifestos. We have policies. So on the campaign trail, you know, people must say things. Earlier when I was walking in, I had, there was a debate on the 6,000 that he promised to give unemployed youth. At the face value, it might look something which is nearly impossible. I am not an economist as Jeff here, but I think when everything is done right, there's a lot of corruption at the, in this country. What if this money is put in the right place? We'll be able to make more. So even the unemployed youth can get something at the end of the day. So what Raila said about the 6,000, I think it is something which is workable. If we put down policies which can work, I believe it is doable. So currently, today is he will be in Mount Kenya. And there's a Mount Kenya East, Meru, Tharaka Nithi, and to me as Lavender, I think he's doing well. People are coming out to listen to Raila. And like before, they would say, no, he's not accepted in this part of the country. But right now, there's a lot of changes, and people are really coming out to welcome him.
Jeff, I know you are affiliated to the Wiper Democratic Movement. Where is your boss? Why are we not seeing this team in him?
Well, I believe that in regard to party politics, there are many things we must consider, and one of the greatest things to consider is that before you even go for a tournament, you have the strategy where people come together on the table and they discuss. And I believe that with his wisdom, he's preparing and he's planning, and I believe that's why you might have not seen him around, but for sure he's working on things. And
time is running out. For politics, there's no time left.
And the fact that you hear Abraham Lincoln said that if you give him 10 hours to chop a tree, you'd spend at least 8 on sharpening the axe. So planning is necessary. It's important and it's vital for every political affiliation, every political affair. You have to ensure that you have the proper strategy in place. And we might not be running as UDA and spending a lot of money on the campaign trail, but for sure, when the time comes, we will be in the forefront.
Do you just say UDA?
Yes, in terms of, I mean, William Ruto is campaigning very much outside there, and you can see that there's a lot of expenditure. And campaign is costly. Is not.
What are we likely to see in the coming months?
Personally, I believe that one day in politics can change a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And as Francis Atwoli always says, mambo ni kujipanga. So I believe that as we are preparing and we are planning, we will be ready.
Okay, so the political landscape is now changing slowly, and most people said that Raila Odinga perhaps was not going to scale the mountain, and we've seen a couple of weeks ago, and today he's still in Mount Kenya. Are things changing?
I'll give you advice on a personal level, not as a member of Wiper, but I would say that for everyone who is reasonable, an analyst, and looking at things at the correct way, you can know that he has the numbers, right? Now, are the political alliance strategy or the political alliances, have they been formed yet? Not yet, right? We don't know who's running with who. So for now, we can only speculate. And as I said, speculation can be useful, but also dangerous. So it's very important to look at people given their numbers, but also to see that if they team up with certain people, those numbers might equally go down or up. So depending on that arithmetic, I believe that for now we can only look at things on a basis in which we speculate, but with a lot of caution. A lot of caution.
Lavender, is it all about speculation?
I don't think he's right to say they are waiting to see the way things are going to happen. Hiyo ni kama kusimama katikati. Already we have a few months.
You're not making a statement.
I'm not making a statement. We have a few months to 2022. So at least we should be seeing people running around. Jacom is doing it. Why can't he also just come out and campaign? You tell people, this is Kalonzo Musyoka. I am presenting myself as the next president of Kenya. This is what I stand for. Lakini you are just seated there waiting for things to happen. I don't really think that is necessary at the moment. You just go out there and do your stuff. But now when you are katikati waiting for things to happen, I don't really think that will work for them. It is that time where people must just come out and fight for their political spaces. Time is running out. I don't know whether maybe they have some last minute arrangement that they want to come now and campaign. But for me, this is the time. Raila is very active. From last week, I don't think he's rested. So even Kenyans are watching. Who are the serious people among the candidates that have fronted their names? Yes. So even Kalonzo Musyoka, I'm not really in the right place to talk on their behalf, but I think they should just come out and also just campaign and tell people what they stand for. Not kukaa katikati and waiting for things to shape up. Then they come out. It's like waiting for now between these two alliances, these two people who are currently running. Who do I go for? Or who will come for me? So Kalonzo is a seasoned politician. By 1985, already was in Bunge. So he's one of the senior most politicians. So we expect him to just come out and tell Kenyans what he is.
What is his strategy, Jeff?
To be honest, and I'll be very honest with you, is that currently the focus is the common mwananchi. And you can see that we are looking at every political party's ideology. And as Wiper, we have been very straightforward in terms of our move to empower the youth. As you can see, I'm a 25-year-old who has been given an executive position in the party. So we are trying to do things without having to publicize them for the sake of publicizing them. And as for setting up strategies on the ground and showing people that we are at the war front, for now, as I know, is that anybody can team up with anyone, because there are no formal alliances that have been publicized and that we know.
But you have to look at the numbers before you make an alliance with anyone or team up with someone else. You have to look at the numbers.
And also the manifesto. And we have to ask ourselves, what are we offering the common mwananchi, right? That's the focus now. And we cannot offer something that has not yet been prepared. I believe so. It would just be the same recycling in every general election. We have to first ask, what is Wanjiko looking for in terms of the economy, in terms of education, in terms of health? These are the focus, these are the key areas that we want to focus on. But if we are to say we want to bulldoze the economic and political structures overnight, that would be a revolution. And the revolution is not something that Kenyans want currently or even in the future. We want stability. Kenya is in the center of growth in terms of the sub-Saharan Africa. We are being looked at by each and every modern economy. We have Coca-Cola headquarters here. We have the United Nations. We have better and bigger things to focus on in terms of revenue generation and not bulldozing the strata and destroying things so as to look as if we're trying to show muscle. So we must work together. That is the focus.
Let me ask you this, Lavender. Are you seeing a situation where Honorable Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka would come again together and work as a team? They've done that in the past.
They've done that in the past. In 2013, again in 2017. So they can still work together. I don't really want to dispute that. But I see them still coming to work together because they've done it before. I only said, even before you come to the table to work with others, bring something. Don't just sit there waiting for things to unfold.
He's talked about manifesto, the numbers and the agenda.
And the agenda. Yeah. But again, they have all that, but they are keeping them somewhere in a corner. So Kenyans need to know what is happening. Because if they don't say it, then how will we know? How will we get to know? So they really have to come out and tell us, this is what we have for Kenyans. Yeah.
Why are we not seeing more names, more so, and specifically women frontrunners being fronted? Apart from Honorable Waiguru, again, we've not seen any other female strong candidate who is being fronted as a running mate. What could be the problem? Perhaps from where you sit, are women not getting their point clearly?
I think there are more women coming out strongly to fight for political space.
Yes.
We've seen the likes of Martha Karua, Charity Ngilu, they've done it before.
Yeah.
So I believe before August 2022, we are going to have a number of female candidates being fronted, not just as deputies, maybe as presidents as well. Yeah, they should just come out and also fight as presidents, not being subordinate to the presidential candidates. Yeah. So I believe many will come out and fight. You know, our society is so patriarchal, but that is what we really want to deal with. And again, I would advise women in politics not to play us versus them kind of politics. Let us just talk to people. I am Lavender, Ojalla. I'm running for this seat. These are my agenda for the people of Homa Bay County, and I believe I can do well when voted in. But I should not go out there and tell people they should vote me because I'm a woman. So us versus them kind of politics has also somehow watered down the gains that have been made.
The kind of politics we're seeing right now, Jeff, between Honorable Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto are more or less the same.
I believe, and I cannot speak on their behalf because they haven't formalized any form of document that I have analyzed in any school of thought. However, I can tell you for a sheer fact that I am more siding with the approach being used by Raila Odinga, given that the idea of giving people a support of the 6,000 Kenyan shillings he mentioned is not something that hasn't succeeded before. It succeeded in other countries. In fact, in other countries, they would give food vouchers where people would go with a voucher to the supermarket and collect food equating to a certain amount of money. And this worked very well in the UK, especially during the time of social unrest after World War II and also during the Cold War. So these are things that have succeeded before, right? And however, when I look at Ruto's approach, where he talks about the bottom-up economy, I can only remember what was written in the Mein Kampf, My Struggle, which was written by Adolf, where he came up with the idea of Volkswagen, which is the people's car. And he said that one day every German will have a car, right? And that was the idea, strengthening the peasants and bringing them to the top. And it failed. So capitalism has succeeded, will continue to succeed. Socialism hasn't. And they have tried many models. They have tried many names. And you can see that empowering the people, the best way is actually by ensuring that at their current level, they can access the resources that are required. But by taking money from people and then giving it to others, you must give us an idea of how that system will operate, because I don't think even you would accept somebody taking something from you and giving it to someone else, even through a tax system.
All right.
You want a proper structure, and you want to understand how will this structure benefit me, even if I'm at the top.
Lavender, let me ask this question. A few weeks ago, Deputy President William Ruto said that he is the only way to Mount Kenya. And later on, Raila Odinga made his way through Narumoru, Olkalau, through to Nyeri and Olkalau, and came back on that side. And people started speaking, the whole landscape changed. Are they playing the same politics? The style is more or less the same?
Victor, kindly allow me to comment on something that you said about capitalism.
Yes.
Capitalism, I think it has somehow widened the gap between the poor and the rich. So the model that I'd really love to advocate for is something that maybe capitalistic but socialism is in between. So we have a model that can capture the whole thing. But capitalism purely as it is has really widened the gap. So it's something that I wouldn't really go for in totality. Yes. But there's a way we can model it to fit in our economic system. Yes.
Okay.
So coming to your question, that is the myth that I think we are now dealing with. Initially, people thought Raila Odinga cannot penetrate
Mount Kenya.
But now, what are we seeing? He's there today, and I think weeks to come, he'll be more accepted, and even the graph will go high. So there are things which had been said before, but we are seeing changes. We are seeing Raila is being accepted in central Kenya. The model that he's using and that Ruto is using is a bit different, and the messaging. So I wouldn't really want to draw parallels between the two, but I think just going down there to people and asking them for votes, the way Raila has been doing, is working out for him. Ruto has been using elected leaders. That is what we call existing structures in politics. So whether those people will also bring him votes as compared to just directly engaging people is still a question. But I like the model that Raila is using, just going directly to the people. Because when you look at the member of parliament from central Kenya, most of them work with Ruto. Yes. As compared to Jacom, who decided just to go directly and talk to people.
So what works then? You have the people, you have the members of parliament. What works, Jeff?
To be honest, I believe that with what we currently have as a country, being accountable, making sure that we are using our current resources in the most efficient manner as possible is the key. Because we are in this center of thinking that we need more, yet we've been borrowing, we've been receiving aid, and the more we receive, the more corruption we receive. And this is the reason why I believe that we need to start auditing what we currently have. How is it being utilized from the county all the way to the ministries? And this is why I can tell you for a sheer fact that if you go to, for instance, Machakos County, you'll find that Machakos County has accounts in over 10 banks, or even in one bank account like Equity Bank, it is running over 5 accounts. That's inefficiency. How can one county be operating over 10 bank accounts to manage county revenue? This is one way in which you can actually see where there's a lot of inefficiency. So I am asking people to actually go back to the foundation. What do we have? How much are we receiving as a county, as a ministry, as a country? And how do we utilize that to every coin and ensure that we are efficient?
But Lavender spoke of Raila Odinga going straight to the people. And Deputy President William Ruto on this end has a number of MPs by his side. So which is more important, you as a candidate going straight to the people, or having legislators and MPs and supporters? What works best?
I think Raila's strategy is the best, and the reason why is because he knows that there is something he needs to find out, and he's actually engaging the masses, trying to understand them, trying to know where are the problems, and trying to actually have them contribute. However, my very good friend William has decided that he knows already what the people want, and he's firm that it's bottoms up economy. It's they want to be at the top, and if you question them, majority of them are following the agenda that has already been aligned.
It would be like an assumption and a strategy. Could not be the reality.
It is, however, when I see his campaigns, I see them more of lectures. And the lecture is the professor knows everything, and the student just follows. However, with Raila, I feel that there is that form of engagement prior to even him coming there. You find that people have already been mobilized, so that even the topics he speaks about are what the common mwananchi is looking for, and you can see it. That's why he's not doing many campaigns, but he's actually strategized on centers that maybe before, like Central Kenya, he was not very popular.
Let's go for a break before we become popular on the show. We'll right back with more after this break. right. Tumenyolewa hewani. I was asking Doreen whether that is Nairobi. Ni kama watu melala Nairobi. I really don't understand. The traffic in Nairobi is quite clear today. Ama watu hana pesa. What's the date? Yeah, could be the reason why. All right. So welcome back to the program. It's Eye on Politics. I'm still with Jeff Abraham and Lavender Ojalla, talking matters politics, what you need to understand. Starting with you, Jeff. Raila Odinga is in Mount Kenya East today, and I'd really like to understand how this thing is going to play out. He's being received by governors Kiraitu Murungi, Wambora, and Muthomi Njuki. We all know that Mount Kenya East, that is where Justin Muturi, the speaker, come from. What's going to be the fate of Justin Muturi moving forward? Because when you have the support of 3 governors and you are a presidential candidate from that particular region, then I don't want to say my guess is as good as mine. I don't know. What's your take on that?
Yes. So basically, what I want to say about Justin Muturi is that he's marketing himself well.
Yes.
And for anyone coming in, when you go for the top seat and you want people to know you, you will be known. And actually, you can see that he might not be a presidential candidate per se, but by the fact that he wants to be a president in the Republic of Kenya will give him a lot of attention. And you might be shocked that he might be a good running mate. And just by sheer fact that the people from his region are with Raila Odinga is just a way of showing that if Raila visits any region, it's actually a benefit for the people from that region to be associated with him, because you have to follow what the people are saying. Yeah. You as a governor might not want to go to that direction, but if your supporters who voted you in as a governor are all sympathetic with Raila and want Raila to be president, you sideline to that direction, even though you might prefer your own person. So I believe that Justin Muturi would be in a better position if he was to align himself with the direction of Raila Odinga and consider a number 2 position, which is very possible. Additionally to that, he's also aiming to be a spokesman for Central. And that's a very big position, and you require a lot of resources. And one of the resources is maybe blessings from Baba himself.
Blessing from Baba himself. Lavender, is it even possible? Because when you see the 3 governors now welcoming Raila today,
yes,
and that's where Justin Muturi come from.
Yes.
Is he losing it?
To be very honest, I don't really think Justin Muturi is a factor when it comes to 2022 presidential race. What he's trying to do is to leverage himself so that when people are called to talk, Justin Muturi is among them. But for 2022, I don't want to appear discriminative. It's about Raila and Ruto. The rest are just trying to leverage themselves. So it's nothing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Justin Muturi is just among these other candidates trying to be at advantage
Give
positions.
a scenario.
Yes.
Raila Odinga as the front runner and Muturi running mate?
Right now, people are still speculating. I don't really want to rule that one out. Yes. But politics will take shape at the right time.
At the right time?
Yes.
When you see these numbers, because people try to say that when you talk of Mount Kenya East and the other side of Mount Kenya now splitting into 2, Raila has completely gone to that side of Mount Kenya East to woo them.
Yes.
Was this a strategy?
It's one of the strategies. Because, you know, Mount Kenya is also subdivided.
Yes.
Yeah, there's Mount Kenya East, there's the Murang'a side, there's the River Chania issue.
Yes.
When people from Murang'a were saying the presidency this time should come to our side. So there are local politics there that any serious candidate would want to consider before making a move. And that is what Raila Odinga is trying to do really well. When he's going to Mount Kenya East, he wants to deal with the leaders from there. When he's in Murang'a like that, Nyeri like that, so that at the end of the day, he keeps all leaders involved. So you understand all the segments within Mount Kenya. So Justin Muturi is just among the candidates who are trying to leverage themselves, but I don't think he's a serious factor in 2022 as far as the presidential race is concerned.
Okay.
Yes.
Jeff, Mount Kenya is a block.
Yes.
And every political candidate, every presidential candidate is looking at the mountain and saying, that place is so fertile.
Yes.
6 million plus votes.
Yes.
I must grab that.
Yeah.
What is going to make Mount Kenya, because they don't have, as we speak, they don't have that strong candidate who is going to be on the ballot for the presidency.
Yeah.
So what are some of the factors that any of these presidential candidates will consider to bring Mount Kenya in one basket for him or for her?
To be honest, I've been asked this question severally, and I've said that the person that will consider seriously to have a person from Mount Kenya as a running mate would be the one to take it home. Because it does not matter whether the person is known or unknown, as long as he is representing the needs of the mountain.
Yeah.
The mountain will call on to him and it will respond. So I believe that we cannot undermine Justin Muturi. He might be showing a very low amount of value in terms of the support in the ground, but if aligned with somebody like Raila Odinga, his mileage and his notability will go rocket high. So I believe that for now, Mount Kenya, they're competing amongst themselves to see who has the suitability to be the spokesperson. And Uhuru Kenyatta might have a say in regards to who he might give the baton when he's leaving office. However, I believe that whoever will actually have a running mate from Central will have a greater chance. That's between Raila, of course, and other people, will have a greater chance of winning. And that's why they're actually competing to see now who will go and speak on their behalf. But they cannot just go to any table. They have to see who has the capacity to win, because they also have to be systematic. So if they rush quickly now to one part and that part loses, they're out of government. And remember, they have never been out of government. So if they have to be systematic, they have to be very careful in terms of the affiliations they make. And that's why you see a lot of people like Anne Waiguru saying that they have been given the blessings of the elders. Justice Muturi also had his coronation. So many people are being coronated, but we don't know who is king. Because the king is still there, Uhuru Kenyatta. So until he leaves the crown and he hands it over, we cannot speculate. Now we can only suggest and say this seems like a suitable candidate.
The king must be somewhere sitting, sipping his coffee and smiling and saying, until I speak.
Yes.
Okay.
But again, we've also not seen Justin Muturi hold any political activity outside
that's
Central
quite
Kenya.
Questionable.
Yes. So I don't understand how he's going to manage this. Even the presidential candidates, the serious ones, they will want to involve someone who has worked hard, someone who has the people, someone who has the whole Central Kenya behind him or her. But in a scenario where somebody just seated there waiting for things to happen, I don't really think it's going to be easy.
And actually, talk of even Jimmy Wanjigi. He's been traversing the country.
Last time he was in Migori, he went to Kisumu, he's been all over the place. Justin Muturi, maybe because he's still the Speaker of the National Assembly, so he cannot move much. But if at all he's serious about being the President of Kenya, then let him come out there strongly and fight. We want to see Justin Muturi who has the people, who has the command of Central Kenya people. But if that is not there, let us not just pretend, because at the end of the day, we have to get a list of others. They are the main contenders, then there are the others. So if at all he wants to bring something on the table, let him come out and do something outside Central Kenya, or just within Central Kenya. Is he in a capacity to consolidate Central Kenya and bring to the person that he can be working with? Yes, it's that simple.
Okay. Yes,
I was going to say that if you look at Jimmy Wanjigi, he's operating within the confines of ODM, and he has been operating freely. Okay, in some regions maybe he has received some opposition, but he's still operating within the confines of ODM. Now, he must have gotten approval from the party leader to operate and to have that freedom to try and get support from the people. This is
I don't think so. There have been wrangles in ODM party.
Yes, but in every home, even if the father says yes, there are some people who say no. So I think that Central Kenya will remain and will continue to be a center part of our politics, and we cannot just ignore them. We have to take into consideration that they will be in the next government, and whoever will consider them first will have that extra mileage to actually be having a head start when it comes to now committing the ballot and voting.
Yes, Lavender.
Yes.
Yeah, I was saying something about Jimmy Wanjigi.
Yeah.
You know, I don't believe in people going to ask for permission before doing anything. Jimmy Wanjigi is a member of ODM, so he has to operate within the confines of the party. But he has gone out there. I believe we have democracy in our party. He's gone out there to talk to people and make people know who Jimmy Wanjigi is. Beyond the usual assumptions that people have about him. So this politics of let me wait and see, I'll be told what to do, let me be neutral. You know, Jeff, as a young person who is also planning to join politics, always just go out there and fight for what you believe in. Don't wait for someone to come and tell you do this or to be given permission. Yes, just start on your own. Don't wait to be told anything.
However, we must consider Jimmy Wanjigi's support to the ODM party in the back door for many years, and I don't think that his political interest randomly came from nowhere in 2021. I believe it has been there. He has been plotting for it, but he felt that the environment was now more lenient towards him to enter into the arena and to call for a shot. And that's the reason why I'm saying that you might not go and ask for a permission as you're asking for a permission, but you feel the aura of the environment calls for you now to let people know that you have an interest in the big seat.
Kwa lugha ya mtaa wanasema umetosha mboga.
So I would expect people like Justin Muturi, if they want to make it easier for the people that they are eyeing to work with, to come out and work hard. So that at the end of the day, when people are talking on the table, they are bringing something. Not that they are seated somewhere waiting for the president to come and tell you do this, do this, do this. I don't believe in such kind of politics.
Okay, let's give a scenario. We have got the two front runners. We have got Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto. Let's focus on Mount Kenya. Starting with Raila Odinga, who is the probable running mate? 3, starting with you, Jeff.
Currently, I would say that he has not even yet stated his declaration.
Not, but
yes,
in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, I would say that he would go for. If the One Way Alliance were to consider him, he would go for one of the principles within the One Kenya Alliance. Yes, One Kenya Alliance. And the reason why is because he has already had past experiences with them, and they have actually succeeded to a certain level. They didn't get government, but they succeeded in working together. So I believe that he's looking at those people in that alliance. However, if they do this and say no to him, I believe that he might consider within his own house, and that would be Wanjigi. They know each other, and I believe that if Uhuru leaves the crown and says huyu kijana amumjui lakini mimi namjua, and ndio roho yangu inaweza pendelea ongoze taifa, and that's the same thing Moi did, and Uhuru lost, but he came again and won
ultimately.
Yes, but he was given that flag and told that you can be a president, and if a president can give you that type of support, it means that you're suitable. So the recommendation is very important.
In Mount Kenya, Raila Odinga, most probable running mate?
In Mount Kenya?
Yes.
If Anne Waiguru did not sideline, she would have been a very good running mate.
All right.
But currently I would go for, I would say that maybe Justin Muturi could do. But
Justin Muturi is also presidential candidate, as is declared.
So all the other running mates, even Kalonzo, before he became a running mate, he was also going for the big seat, and they agreed to come together. So I believe that there are formulations that can be done. And we cannot say no to Raila partnering with somebody from Central Kenya. And it could be even a person that people have just known in the last few years.
All right. William Ruto?
For William Ruto in Mount Kenya is Anne Waiguru. Maybe Anne Waiguru, or I don't think he has any other. Moses Kuria, but you see he's now in the middle. So he has a very difficult, because for William Ruto, even if he were to support a person from Mount Kenya, that person will require also the support of President Uhuru Kenyatta in order to legitimately be the Central Kenya sports person. Yes. And I know for a sheer fact that Mount Kenya will not have 3 people speaking for them, because they know if they split that 6 million vote, it will not even have a meaningful impact.
Okay.
Yeah, so they want it to come as one, and so that they can actually be the ones to say Tosha.
Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable?
I can't speak on his behalf because
why not?
Jeff cannot speak on behalf of Kalonzo Musyoka and is a member of Wiper, yet he's speaking on behalf of Raila Odinga.
President
I am suggesting, however, I cannot
give us a suggestion. Yes,
just give us a suggestion
for sure, because he's in an alliance already. The people within that alliance, but of course he can negotiate with people from other areas, like Justin Muturi is a suitable candidate, but they have not shown any interest in joining the alliance, even though they know as a one-man force they cannot take the seat. At least they understand that they can't take it.
How you are coining it.
They can't take it alone. So if people are not forming alliances, they are trying to indicate that they can be president without any other support, which is unreasonable. I am aware that Ruto will, at some point in time, partner with somebody. So will Raila Odinga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me bring in Lavender.
Yeah.
Starting with Deputy President William Ruto. Probable running mate, Central Kenya.
I think he has various choices to make. I think it's not in order to speak for them.
Right.
Yeah, maybe I'll be opening their eyes, but it's not in my interest to do that. So
who knows anyway?
Yeah. So for Raila Odinga, I'm a supporter of Raila Odinga. There are talks which are ongoing, and I think at the end of the day they'll come up with somebody who has the face of Central Kenya. And you've seen people meeting the Mount Kenya Foundation, the business people from Mount Kenya, the youth from Mount Kenya. There are conversations which are ongoing. So I don't really want to let the cat out of the bag this early.
Jeff gave us an idea.
He was giving us ideas. I was listening, and I'm sure people are also listening. But in my case, I don't really think I want to mention names at this point. Yes, I just want to leave it grey, as I've done, by saying that there are talks which are ongoing. Yeah, various groups from Mount Kenya have been meeting, and the choice might surprise many people. It may not be the usual names that we are used to.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Deputy President William Ruto.
Let him choose. Hata kama ni Moses Kuria, I have no problem. I have no problem with him choosing anyone that he feels he can work with. But I think for Raila, there are serious talks going on. At the right time, the running mate will be unveiled. But I don't want to mention names this early.
Politics is a game of cards.
Yes.
It's like going to war. You don't show your opponent your next
move. You don't show your opponents your next. Yes, you just ambush them. So at the end of the day, I believe we'll come up with the best from Central.
Every political candidate says the best.
The best.
Jeff.
Yes. And one thing you must ask yourself is why haven't they yet declared their positions firmly? Is because they are waiting for someone else to pull his card so that they know who has the joker. Who has the end point. So it's actually there's no first mover advantage here. In fact, if you move as a first mover, you will find yourself in the tail at the end of the race. So they want to first see what everyone's holding behind their card, then they will now know, this is now my winning trick.
My winning trick.
And that is the center. And that's why even most of them have not even published their manifestos, because they don't want to sell ideas for somebody else to come and just do building. You take a copy paste of someone's manifesto, and then you see what they have not mentioned, and then you just add on to it. So they want to just wait until last minute, probably 1 week before the elections. You will actually be able to receive a report to understand this is the ideology of this political party or this alliance.
All right. So again, let's take a break. When we come back, I want us to talk about the power of the youth vote, something that almost all the candidates are talking about. That vote is quite key. And by the way, the voter registration exercise is still ongoing. We will still tell you that go out there and take your vote. If you have taken your vote, go there and verify if you are a registered voter. All right, let's take a break, and we come back. We'll discuss that and much more. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Still on Eye on Politics. Let's just get towards the tail end. And before you continue, I want to ask you, Jeff, you are the boss of and the founder, actually, on the Diaspora youth wing of the Wiper.
Yes.
Let's talk about the youth vote here. Quite important. Almost all the political candidates are now, we all know a majority of Kenyans are youth, and 70% will form the next voting bloc, unless that number increases after this voter registration exercise. How is that voter, the diaspora vote, quite important? Because we know that there are a number of countries which have been added onto the previous ones.
Yeah, so that's actually a very good question. And in fact, it's one of the areas in which a lot of political parties were asking themselves, how can they be able to not only attract the diaspora to want to vote? Because I can tell you for a sheer fact, the people in the diaspora, wakati waliondoka Kenya, waliona wameondoka na wameacha Kenya na kila kitu. So they were in a state in which they felt despair that the political systems had failed them and that they were seeking greener pastures. And you have this group of people who you have to now come back again to them and speak to them. And I'll give you a very good example. We are trying to capture a lot of Kenyans in a lot of the countries in Europe and also in North and South America. And in one place we tried to capture Kenyans who are in actually professional positions, was in the Cayman Islands. And I can tell you for a sheer fact, they contribute a large proportion of remittances into the country. But when you ask them when was the last time they voted, they don't even have voting cards. So you have to actually go to them and tell them why they need to vote. So, and that's why there's that voter despair that we're trying to get rid of in the diaspora. It's been a difficult challenge. However, we're trying to do it with the youth, and they're becoming a little bit more vibrant because they see that when things go bad out there, they have to come back home. So they must be concerned. It's a big proportion, especially in terms of those people who go to study abroad. Majority of them are over 18, so they can vote. The problem is accessibility. Most of them don't even have the capacity to buy a ticket to come back to Kenya and just vote. So these are the areas in which we even like IBC to look into in terms of voting for the diaspora in a much more easier and lenient way. Let's not make the system harsh because these people already have given up in the political system. So you're trying to bring them back.
Okay. Okay. So let's come back home, Lavender. And are youth motivated to vote?
Somehow, yes and no. They are not motivated as such, considering the economic times that we are in. And a good percentage of young people in this country are unemployed. They are suffering. They are looking for jobs, they cannot get them, and then when electioneering period is nearing, they are told, Chukweni ID, we want you people to go and vote. When you look at how Jubilee government packaged their manifesto, they really tried to impress the young people. But again, after 2013, nothing has been done. They promised young people jobs. Job creation was part of their manifesto. But after that, nothing has been done. So youth in this country are not motivated. So something really needs to be done. They have just to be encouraged.
They feel like
they are taken for granted. Yes. When people are nearing elections, people call young people, sit down with them, tell them very nice things. We are going to do this, we are going to do this, we are going to do this. Then after elections, nothing is done. Implementation is zero. So I think from where I'm seated that they are not that motivated. And that is where we begin to have a conversation. Like now, how are we going to tell these people that voting is your democratic right? If you feel these leaders are not good, then it's upon you to come out and vote them out. Or it is you to come in and vote the right people who you think can serve the country best. So at the moment, the messaging is important. People need to have a conversation with the young people, not talking at them, but just sitting down with the young people and having them tell the leaders what they want the country to do for them. Because we need to have a participatory approach to leadership, not just coming out with manifestos that are colorful so that you can be elected. But when you sit with the young people. They tell you their priorities, what they want to be done. I think it will be better that way.
In the Constitution, they talk of public participation.
Yeah, public participation. Yeah. But it's never there. People just come and tell you, this is what I want to be done.
Then perhaps it's now high time for the youth now to go out there, the way you said, just begin.
Just begin. Don't wait for someone to come and tell you this and this.
Yeah.
Go out there and fight.
But
I believe, yes.
They would argue that they don't have the financial muscle to wrestle with the big boys or the big ladies in the game already. Jeff?
Yes, and this is why you'll actually come to see that a lot of youths have actually taken the campaign season as a business opportunity. Yes. And you'll find them that actually they go to take the voting card, but then they now use this as a means to make money during the campaign season. Yeah. Yes. And they actually don't vote for the right people. They vote for the largest contributor.
Yes.
And this is a very big issue because it's a state of despair in which people say, wachai kai. And once people reach at that level, that's when now you start seeing having people being elected and then later on being impeached and then having a by-election. Because in the first place, they were elected because they were the largest contributor, but they were not actually the people who could do the job. And this is the reason why I believe if you want the youth to vote correctly, there must be civil education in regards to the effect they have as a group, as a social group, in terms of the decisions they make.
But it must be a very slippery kind of group.
Yes,
I mean,
it is.
Getting the youth into one corner is not an easy task for all the politicians.
No, it's not so easy.
Yeah.
And again, you know, our politics has been highly commercialized.
Exactly.
It has been highly commercialized, and a different approach will do. Yeah, because during campaigns, like now we are approaching that season, youth will vote according to how much they receive from candidates. If you don't give money, you are told hakuna penye unaenda. So we just have to give it a different approach. There should be a conversation. You sit them down and tell them, look, if I give you this money, by the time I get to parliament, it's like I'm buying your vote. So you will not come and demand accountability from me. Or you will not even come and tell me, I voted you in, I expect you to do this and this and this. I'll simply tell you, but see, I bought your vote. Why are you coming to demand that from me? So I think politics in Kenya needs to change. And this culture of handouts, it began in 1992. Remember? Yeah, the YK 92, where a lot of notes were printed just to buy people to vote. And if you ask me, I think our generation needs to change that kind of politics. We don't need to have politics which has been commercialized. You go to the ground to campaign, you are told because you've not untied us, in quotes, you are not going anywhere. You need to give us something. Then at the end of the day, I go to parliament, I want to get my money first before I start serving the people.
In fact, some people say that the first 3 years is to
get
your capital back.
My capital back. Which to me is a sad state of affair. Let us have a conversation so that the young people, I think the young people, that is the highest percentage. Exactly. They constitute the highest percentage. We need to have a conversation so that they know they have a right. They can change the political landscape of this country. Okay. Yes.
I'm quite interested in knowing one thing, and being a diplomat with a lot of experience, you've been engaged in certain UN and other functions. There is this aspect of Somalia and Kenya border dispute.
Yes.
It's something that has been going on for quite some time, for around 7 years now.
Yes.
And just last week we got that judgment and that ruling at the UN at the Hague.
ICJ, yes.
So the question is, what is the relationship between Kenya and Somalia?
The relationship between Kenya and Somalia has been shaky. At times it's stable, at times it's shaky. When we look at a number of factors. Remember, KDF is still in Somalia, trying to fight and bring peace in Somalia. We also have a number of Somali nationals living in Kenya. Actually, even the president of Somalia, Famajo, he spends a lot of his time in Kenya. So he's a regular visitor State House. So I cannot say we have that bad relationship with Somalia. But again, when talking about states' interest, the interest of any state will always come first. So Kenya must look at what will benefit the nation. And when you remember, I take you back to some small history. There's a time that Idi Amin wanted to extend boundary Uganda.
Yes.
Kidogo ipite Kisumu kikuja.
Around Naivasha.
Around Naivasha, yeah. Jomo Kenyatta just went to Uhuru Park and called a rally and said not even an inch of Kenyan soil will go to Uganda. You know, so as a country, our interest must come first, and the work of a president is to protect the territorial boundaries. So that ruling, it is there, but again, talking as a patriotic Kenyan, I wouldn't just say let Kenya cede and let Somalia have that piece of land, because it is very important. It has some economic value. That is why you see there has been fights here and there. Looking at, there was a similar case between Nigeria and Cameroon some other time. So a ruling was made, but Nigeria said, we are not leaving this place. We are not leaving this place. So even for Kenya, I don't think Uhuru has spoken about it because he's been away. We cannot just cede. Talking as a patriotic Kenyan, we cannot just cede. Because Somalia depends a lot on Kenya, on so many other things. So we should not let them have this feeling that we took Kenya to ICJ and we have won. No.
So it should just go like that?
Yes, it cannot go like that.
Yes.
Because when looking at the sub-Saharan Africa, Kenya stands out. So all these neighboring countries, they depend on Kenya because geopolitically, Kenya is more placed, more advantaged compared to the states around us. So a case was there, a ruling was done, but let us wait and see the steps that the president is going to take. But as Lavender, when given a chance to advise, I wouldn't really say Kenya should cede. Not even an inch should go to Somalia.
Not even an inch.
Not even an inch should go to Somalia.
Yes. Jeff, Kenya has a lot of interest in Somalia.
Yes.
And Somalia, the way we've said, Farmajo always, just in the country, is always a regular visitor to State House. They've had a number of talks with the President Kenyatta, so they know each other pretty well.
Yes.
And we can assume that behind the scenes, there's so much that is happening. The diplomatic talks, high stakes. We might not understand at this particular level.
Yes.
Where do you see the end result of all this?
First of all, I would want to state that international maritime law has its own jurisdiction in regards to how territorial borders should be shared. And that has already been agreed. Now, Somalia went to ICJ and said that they have an issue. They want resolved. And the ruling was to their advantage. However, I don't believe that the president should approach it in a hostile manner because it was the ICJ that ruled against Kenya. I still believe that there's room for negotiation and there's room in which actually they can have a closed door discussion and come to an agreement. Because I don't believe Kenya is in a state of having any form of dispute in the extent in which we are fighting with our bordering neighbor. And I can tell you that war is a business, a multi-trillion business. And if you give any room for people to take advantage of that situation, they would easily cause things to go in the wrong direction. So I think caution is very important. Whoever is the Minister of Defense and also the Minister of Foreign Affairs, they should ensure that they bring these two leaders together and they discuss it out. Because I don't think that if we have altercations, and these altercations are rumored down to the ground person who wants to benefit from that form of dispute, then it would not be a good thing. We have just brought peace into Somalia. We don't need another dispute, especially over something that I believe they could discuss. And we are coming to a general election. We don't want to have expenditure that is unnecessary. We have had COVID-19 that has caused people to go into economic hardship. We need to utilize our resources within and not externally fighting wars.
Jeff is talking like in international politics, that is what we call idealism. Being realistic to what is there. because when you allow such kind of thing to happen, next will be Uganda. You know, there has been issues of Migingo Island and Museveni claiming part of most of those islands in Lake Victoria. And Kenya has been so soft in its approach to dealing with such territorial disputes. That is why I'm saying, when you allow them to just say, you know, we have won, now next time let us go and extend there. That is now where the president comes in and say no. Yeah, there's something called idiosyncratic variables. We use it to gauge personalities of leaders. That is why I brought the story of Jomo Kenyatta and Idi Amin. You know, he just told him it will not happen, and it did not happen.
Yes, so, but what you don't know is that prior to that, there were some discussions that were made. However, I'm not saying that they should allow Somalia to take over the region and do nothing. I'm saying that they should discuss about it and come to an amicable agreement where both parties would feel that they have been served properly. Because at the current level, I can assure you, if we go and use force, Somalia will just use the same reaction, force. And that's happened in Syria. It's happened in all other countries that are now suffering from any form of military action. We need to be diplomatic, and we need to realize that we as a country are in ICU, economically, socially, politically. And we need Somalia as an ally and not as an adversary. This is as simple as it goes. I'm not saying Kenya should secede and say that we give you the land. I want them to be firm, but with some form of common sense. If we start altercating through media and you have one president insulting another president and their supporters doing the same, it all goes back to the military, and it's not a good picture. It's not a good picture.
What are some of the avenues that can be used to diffuse the whole tension between the two countries?
The Ministry for Foreign Affairs can actually form a committee. So that way they can be able to negotiate, as Jeff is proposing. They can be able to negotiate with their counterparts in Somalia, so that they see what can be done. But whatever the case, it should be a win-win for Kenya and Somalia. That is what I meant. But Kenya should not just say, okay, there was a ruling, now that piece of land belongs to Somalia. They come back and listen, next time they will do another thing. So I think national interest comes first. Any state will always go for its interest, what serves its interest first. So I'm not saying people should go to war. I just brought that example to illustrate that the personality of a president can sometimes solve some of these issues. When they say, you president, I don't really think is someone you can just go and do this, alafu anyamaze. I know some of these things, we cannot always have them done on paper, like, too much diplomacy at times, they spoil everything. I'm a student of diplomacy, but I know at some point, it takes the courage of a leader to say, this cannot happen.
And to stand
and you deal with it. And you stand your ground. So hata hao watu wa Somalia, they know, hapo Kenya, siezi jaribu. Because I gave an example with Migingo. Matters Migingo are so close to my heart. Maybe because that is where I come from. There has been back and forth movement. Museveni, this has happened, this has happened. When you go to Migingo, you will find Ugandan police officers stationed there. They harass our people on the lake. They get revenue weekly from people on our side. Yet the government is just quiet. A lot has happened. We've seen our legislatures trying to put these things in order, but it's not working. You know, when you go there, you will still find Ugandan policemen patrolling the lake, patrolling the lake and harassing our people. There's a time they killed a fisherman and dumped him in the lake. He's not been found to date. So some of these things, we just need to come out and be firm that it's not going to happen. When you apply too much diplomacy,
sometimes that's wrong. Okay. I'm told we are running out of time, but then let me start with you, Jeff. Running for a political seat?
I like being honest. Currently, no, but in the future, God willing.
God willing?
Yes.
Okay. Lavender?
Yes. I am running. Homa Bay. I'm running for the women representative post. How
is the ground?
Progress is good. I can say I have learned the terrain. When I started, there were a bit of challenges. And you know, our politics, when you come in as a new face, you don't have the name recognition. People start asking, like, who is she? And why is she running for this post? So I said, I'm going for this thing. Because if people our age are just seated in a corner waiting for people to support, then there's going to be a generational gap. So I said, as Lavender, let me go and fight it out there. Because I know I have the capacity to go and talk to the voters directly, tell them who I am and why I feel I can do better when given a chance to lead them. Because at times you want to do so many things to your people, Victor, but you find that your hands are tied because you don't have the political goodwill. So that political goodwill is necessary for you to do one or two things. Because you've been there even before I declared interest in running for this post. I was out there trying to help in my own individual capacity. So I feel this is an opportunity. If I get, I'll be able to do quite a lot to our people. So I'm there, I'm ready on the ground, and we've done quite well.
Jeff, I want to break the rule. Assume she's declared that she's running for a seat in Homa Bay County. Assume you are a voter in Homa Bay County. Ask her two questions. Assume you're a voter, you're a resident of Homa Bay County, and she's running.
So my first question would be very simple. What's your economic ideology? And my second question would be, what impact would you make on a personal level on your day-to-day operations as a government representative, based on what you are requested by the people when you meet them? What would be your impact on a day-to-day basis?
Two questions.
Two questions, yes. My impact on a day-to-day basis. First of all, the seat of women rep is, we are going to sit at the National Assembly. That is where policies are being formulated. So first, it's oversight legislation, just like the rest of MPs. And we focus on communal projects, because it is not possible to satisfy each and every individual on a daily basis. So as Lavender, I think my policies will be focused on communal interest. You get very good economic policies, you put them in place, because the allocation for this seat is not that much. So it's upon me to find a way of networking. You go to the UN, go to these other bodies, you try and present to them something that they can come in and join you as partners, so that you work together. Because alone, it is not doable. Because that allocation is not as much as people think. So there's something called soft power, again in diplomacy. I believe I have it. So it is that power that you can use to knock doors and bring something to the table. Yes. And I think that covers, again, the economic policies that you talked about. Having that blueprint and manifestos and finding ways of implementing them. And I mentioned partners. There's a time I was trying to talk about health issues. What if we have something akin to Nairobi Women's Hospital in Homa Bay? Maybe a smaller version. We just do a nice concept. You share it with the partners. They come in and you build it there for women of Homa Bay. At least that way, we shall have made a step on matters health. We know that the executive wing of the county government are the ones who are really mandated to deal with health issues. But again, if you're somebody who is creative enough, you look at the gaps. My work basically will be looking at the gaps. Yes, and you find a way of closing them. Correct.
Jeff, I'll give you a voucher. An invoice for that question. Of course, you're not taking my job.
Yes.
It was just a challenge. Just a challenge. All right. I think this is the right time to close that. And thank you so much for being a part of the show. We've been speaking to Lavender Ojalla, who is a diplomat by profession. Yes, people call her Balozi. She has interest on diplomatic and construction business, as well as gender affairs, and as well as Abraham Jeff, who is a political analyst and founder, as well as head of the Wiper Democratic Movement Diaspora Youth Wing. He's an accountant by profession as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thanks.
And on behalf of my colleagues, asanteni sana, and you as a viewer, thank you so much for always waking up with us from 6 a.m. until almost 10. Asante sana. See you tomorrow. And it will be Kirinyaga edition. So be sure to watch that until Wednesday. Happy Mashujaa, well in advance. Good morning.